when we go into how we're treating it, and I just use the next couple slides to reinforce the fact that you guys are learning some good stuff. And literally these things that we take so haphazardly, like, oh, you know, joy injures the heart or worry injures the spleen. Really take a look at that, because those are built in and those are so simple, but they are incredibly profound. If we look at anger, right, going back to the Ling Shu, we are kind of, again, always encountered by the fact that anger makes qi rise. Anger agitates the heart and has repercussions for the liver. If you look at Ma Chiocha, he talks about all of it kind of combined. He makes qi ascend. Anger causes liver yang to rise and liver fire to blaze. Repressed anger causes liver qi stagnation. So I think it's important to note here that my definition of qi, I usually use the word function, and I use them interchangeably. So if you talk about liver qi, you can talk about liver function. We can just expound that liver function to include the emotions and the things that we encompass in Chinese medicine. So when you hear that anger makes qi rise, okay, whatever. But if you realize that it can also make pathogenic qi rise, where does the liver channel terminate? So at least the internal pathway of the channel, the liver channel goes through the breast, as does the heart, as does part of the chong, as does the lung, as does the stomach, right? And so when you look at that, obviously the lung and the liver have huge roles to play in just qi being spread throughout the body. The heart, as far as the emotions being conveyed, is a huge deal. The liver, it's self-explanatory. And the yang ming channel is kind of how we get the chunks of dampness and phlegm up there. So if we have qi rising, along with the pathogenic factors, and those channels go through there, if you can strain that chest with emotion, of course that's where you're going to have dampness start to accumulate, stagnation start to accumulate, because qi stagnation itself doesn't cause cancer. When it combines with pathogenic factors over a long time, that's when you start to have cancer, right? So if you think about it in terms of function, qi stagnation in the breast would be like a functional error in all the cells in the breast. So if those things don't get moving, then you start to have those 5 hallmarks of the cancer cells start to accrue. And when I talk to patients about this, they kind of look at me like, yeah, right, like, prove it. So I usually do bring in studies either and show them directly. I have like an information packet that I give my cancer patients to say, this is why we're doing what we're doing. And that seems to really help them get on board. So this is just a cute little study where they're looking at optimism versus suppressed anger versus anger, how it's expressed. And they're relating that to the natural killer cells cytotoxicity. In other words, how our immune system kills other cells. They found that with greater optimism was greater natural killer cell cytotoxicity, meaning that our immune system performed better. Now with anger, it performed a little less, but with suppressed anger, it really did terrible. So the key etiological factor of qi stagnation in the liver is not anger so much as not expressing your anger. And the proof is in the pudding. When we look at the biology of it, it's still there. So it's my theory in life, if it's true, it's going to be true across the board. It's not going to be true in Western medicine and not true in Eastern medicine and vice versa. So really, the more optimistic and the more free-flowing your emotions are, the better your immune system will function, and kind of the opposite of that. But when we look at it even further, right, we have a ton of cortisol secretion and a lot of immune dysregulation with anger. Right. We'll go into these a little bit more so that you can use it more clinically when you're looking at herbs, but really quickly, I mean, just from a glance, decreased chemotaxis, meaning the ability for things to kind of be adjusted and killed, apoptosis, shifts the immune system from antibody to cytotoxic and vice versa, and it dysregulates the HPA axis. So when you're looking at acupuncture from the biomedicine side of things, one of the main things we do is we actually regulate the HPA axis. So the fact that we treat anger dysregulates this and we regulate it, we just have layers upon layers of how acupuncture can benefit these patients. And we have layers upon layers of how we can talk to the oncologists and the patients to let them know, hey, this works, and the proof is in the pudding.